Saturn's going to be making some really strange, weird movements over the next year, so let's talk about preparing for them since Saturn kind of requires that we are prepared for the lessons that it brings through. Starting with this full moon, happening on November 15th, we have Saturn going direct in Pisces and the full moon in Taurus. Now, the other sign, planet, that's in Taurus right now is Uranus. Uranus is one of the rulers of Aquarius, and Saturn is the other ruler of Aquarius. We have Pluto moving into Aquarius on November 19th. So this full moon is actually going to be bringing us a lot, like so much I can't even comprehend how much, a lot of clarity around our order that we need, our structure that we need. How are we really doing with our order and our structure, keeping our boundaries, keeping up on Saturn work within our lives for when Saturn goes direct and everything else that is about to happen. So pay attention to the clarity that you receive on that day, November 15th. And keep in mind, too, that Saturn is in Pisces, which means that there could be prophecy or divination or messages that come through the veil. That sometimes happens when you put Saturn and Pisces together. So just pay attention. Anything important happens, write it down or record it somehow. True. Okay, discern for you how that fits in. Now let's talk about next year. I am going to skip over some things. We have some weird stuff happening with the North Node crossing over Saturn and crossing over Neptune. But what I really want to look at is when Saturn finally goes into Aries. We have several conjunctions next year of Saturn being conjunct with Neptune in Aries at 1 degree. That happens multiple times, which blows my mind, dude. Next year, magically, crazy. Okay, but let's talk about that, not just about how crazy it is. So if you're looking for specific dates, Saturn enters 1 degree in Aries on June 10th. June 10th. Saturn then goes retrograde in Aries on July 13th. And then we have a conjunction of Saturn retrograde and Neptune retrograde at that 1 degree in Aries from August 1st. No, that's a joke. July 31st until August 15th. So basically all next summer, because Saturn enters Aries on May 25th. So basically all of next summer, this is going to be applicable. Saturn in Aries with Neptune also being in Aries. The fact that they're making that crossover into Aries at the exact same time, we are seeing right now Saturn and Neptune in the house of Neptune. They're in Pisces, which is ruled by Neptune currently. Saturn is the father of Neptune. So we have the father, Saturn, in the home of one of its sons, Neptune. They're at the kid's house, preparing, getting ready. The dad came to visit. Oh, it's so good to see you, kid. It's so good to see you, son. How you been doing? Let's go over some things. And it's this heart-to-heart conversation, this serious conversation that's happening between this father and son figure in our transits currently, which is really helping us prepare because next year as they move into Aries, let's talk a little bit about Aries and the story of Aries. Aries is the ram that is sent to save children. Literally, there is a mother who prays and asks for help, and what is delivered is a ram to then lift those children out of the situation they're in and allow them the freedom out of those binds that were not safe for them. Aries is really about the youth. It's about protecting the youth, protecting our innocence, and really what that costs. Also, it being ruled by Mars means that that can only happen when we have the resources to do so. And sometimes we do have to offer that innocence for the lessons that we are learning. So the fact that we have Saturn and Neptune at the kid's house right now, in Neptune's house right now, and they're together and they're having these serious conversations and they're getting ready, they're getting prepared, and they're like, we're going in for the kids, man. We're going to make sure they're all right. But because it's Saturn, there has to be order and there has to be structure. So check out wherever Aries is in your chart. The house that it's in is what I mean by that. And any placements are going to be applicable as well. And start to really just check in. Is the order in this area of my life, in the house of this astrological space of Aries, is this really, am I doing everything I need to do? Because come next year, Saturn and Neptune, they are coming through to make sure that the spirit of your inner child or the spirit of the children around you are lifted up and out of the binds that confine them and that have not been safe for them. But again, that can only happen if there's preparation and there are resources available for those either inner children or actual literal children in your family or that are around you in your life. It's a lot. It's a lot. We're not going to get to the second conjunction of Saturn and Neptune at 1 degrees until we get into 2026. So we do still have some time on that because the first one will happen when they're both retrograde at 1 degrees, which is just mind-boggling, dude. It's crazy. They do have like basically a conjunction, almost a conjunction. They're not right on top of each other. Saturn and Neptune in Aries at 1 degrees. They move on. Neptune moves on right before Saturn gets to 1 degrees. Neptune moves on to 2 degrees. But it could still be considered a conjunction if you're not doing a 1 degree orb, which is just counting 1 degree. Okay, but it'll be kind of a conjunction. TLDR, okay? Get your spiritual life together right now. Get the transitions you're going through together right now. Have those really serious conversations and allow yourself to go through preparation work in this current moment so that in the coming years, 2025 and 2026, your inner child and the youth, okay, not just the kids around you, let's talk about the youth, the kids, the youth, are able to be lifted up and out of their situations that are scary, that are not safe, that could be harmful. There's so many different ways that could be pronounced or spoken. And Saturn in Aries, that means that the only time that savior of a ram is going to be sent in is if we're in the order of wherever Mars is. So the Mars retrograde, because Mars moves like fairly quickly, not super fast, but that Mars retrograde that is at the end of this year starts on December 6th and it goes until February 24th of 2025. That's our Mars retrograde. That's going to also be really big preparation for that inner child savior, sort of like lift us up and out of these spaces we don't want to be in anymore. So as needed, if that's applicable and how it's applicable for you and to you and your chart. That Mars retrograde is going to go through Leo and Cancer. So Leo placements, Cancer placements, also moving from your 5th house into your 4th house. If you want to read the indirectness, that's like way extra homework, but it could be applicable. So if you want to apply it, you can go ahead and apply it. Okay. And that's what I have for you. This is a pretty long video. It's a really dense video. Also, there's a lot of information in this one, but you know what? Necessary needed. There's going to be more information that I'm putting out on this. This is just kind of the first info dump about it. So receive it as needed. There'll be more info later. Gratitude, reverence, and love to you. Keep doing what you need to do. Keep up your brew, especially if you have Pisces placements, 10th house placements that have to do with this. Anything that you find from what I've just said that could be applicable, okay? If you have crossovers of those placements, and especially if you have a Saturn in Aries. I'm a blink thrice. Did you see that? Especially if you have a Saturn in Aries. That's it. Let me not drag this out. I'll talk to you soon. Okay, bye.